The history of the Zaporozhskaya Nuclear Power Plant, or ZNPP, dates back to 1977, when the USSR Council of Ministers took the decision to build it. A site for the plant was found quickly enough. A plot of land unsuitable for agriculture with Zaporozhskaya thermoelectric power plant in the vicinity was virtually destined to become the location for the future facility. Works began at the site in 1979. The ZNPP was the first industrial facility ever built using what's known as Hinox breakthrough. This method was developed for the construction of standard VVER 1000 power units. Before the ZNPP's construction began, it had usually taken 6 to 7 years to build a facility from breaking ground to commissioning the facility. Given that the design had been finalized, those who built the ZNPP worked a miracle. They managed to complete the construction within 4 years, although work had started before the design was finished. What made this method unique? It was best suited for a series of standard facilities and can roughly be described like this. As soon as a team of specialists and technical staff completed its part of work on one facility, it immediately moved to the next. This enabled continuous construction activity and use of equipment and the overlapping of various construction cycles to save time. The ZNPP became the largest nuclear power plant in Europe and was the world's first nuclear power plant to generate 1 trillion kilowatt-hours of electricity. In 1984, the plant's first power unit was commissioned. This day became the ZNPP's birthday. In 1985 to 87, in just 2 years, 3 more ZNPP power units were put into operation, and 1988 saw the approval of a nuclear power plant expansion project, providing for the construction of 2 more power units. A total of 6 Soviet-designed power units, each with pressurized water power reactors, VVER, with a nominal capacity of 1,000 milliwatts were built and launched at the ZNPP. This reactor type is the most common in the VVER series. The power plant was designed by Atomenergo Projekt in Moscow under the scientific supervision of the Kurchatov Institute, also in Moscow, while the reactor design was developed by Gidropress, Podolsk, Moscow region. The approaches developed during construction of the ZNPP had a significant impact on the industry in the USSR. To produce equipment for the standard nuclear power plant units, the country had to expand the capacities of existing enterprises or create new ones from scratch. The equipment was produced in different cities across the USSR. Reactor vessels were made by Izhorskaya Zavody and turbogenerators by Elektrosila in Leningrad, while earthquake-resistant fuel handling machines were produced by the Atomash Production Association in Volgodonsk. Therefore, the Russian Federation both owns the design and technology and possesses the entire set of documents for the plant. After the special military operation commenced on March 4, 2022, the Russian armed forces secured the ZNPP to prevent provocations by Ukrainian commandos and foreign mercenaries. The first such provocation was committed at the plant's training center as early as on the night of March 5, 2022.
The nuclear power plant was placed under the protection of federal agencies and the Russian National Guard personnel, who have extensive experience in securing critical state facilities, special cargo, and infrastructure along key transportation routes. A set of measures was implemented at the plant to ensure its reliable security and protection.
The ZNPP was yet to return to the Russian nuclear family when it became clear that it needed a major upgrade, if not a complete overhaul. Energoda, the city built for ZNPP personnel, was also in a deplorable state as it lacked modern infrastructure. Its material and technical base was outdated, and the services sector left much to be desired. In short, both the ZNPP and the city needed a breath of new life to restore its former splendor. A new chapter in the history of the plant. Its employees and residents of Energoda started on September 27, 2022, the day of the referendum in which the people of Zaporozhsky region voted for joining the Russian Federation as a full-fledged constituent entity. On October 5, 2022, the Russian president signed Decree No. 711 on the special regime of legal regulation in the field of the use of nuclear energy in the territory of the Zaporozhsky region, which confirmed the status of the ZNPP as a facility under Russian jurisdiction. This decree also established a transitional period for the special regulation regime. which is to last until January 1st, 2028. This includes a special regime of nuclear supervision, state regulation of industrial safety and funding of measures to ensure the ZNPP's safety and security.
In 2022, employees of the Zaporozhskaya Nuclear Power Plant and the people of the city of Energodar voted in favor of the Zaporozhskaya region joining the Russian Federation. This decision became a genuine turning point in the lives of both the people and the region as a whole. Energodar became part of Russia's family of nuclear cities, and now the safety and security of the ZNPP and the well-being of all Energodar residents are our responsibility. People trust us, and we are fully committed to living up to that trust.
The plant returned home to Russia, as did the adjacent city of Energodar, which reunited the family of Russian nuclear cities, territorial entities where nuclear facilities are located, with high standards of living, protection, and social welfare. After all, the nuclear industry is not only about technology, it's also about a special culture that unites people devoted to their work. The residents of Energodar now once again make up a part of that large family that respects professionalism, mutual support, and loyalty to the motherland. The most difficult period is over, yet one can hardly say that a peaceful life has returned. Ukraine continues its attacks on the ZNPP and Energodar, which the ZNPP, its employees and city residents courageously resist. However, they are not alone anymore, with Russia standing by them determined to achieve the main objective, which is to ensure complete safety and security for the ZNPP and the well-being of those who operate it. As the ZNPP returns to Russia, both the plant itself and the city and the thousands of people who pin their hopes for the future on this place take a step forward. A step towards modernization, investment and confidence in the future under the protection of the Russian nuclear power industry. Russia takes all necessary measures to ensure the safety and security of the ZNPP. To strengthen the nuclear safety and security of the plant in accordance with its national legislation and its obligations arising from relevant international legal instruments to which it is a party. Since the special military operation began, Ukraine has been continuously threatening the ZNPP, and since July 2022, it has regularly attacked Energodar. Attacks against the plant have become Kiev's signature.
When tasked with ensuring safety and security of the Zaporozhskaya Nuclear Power Plant, my comrades and I approached it calmly and confidently. We clearly understood who our enemy was and what we were to expect. Sadly, the enemy met our expectations. Apparently realizing that we came here to stay, they began shelling the plant. They used missiles, cluster munitions, and long-range artillery. They seem to target secondary facilities rather than the reactor units themselves. But what can really be considered secondary at a nuclear power plant? The Banderites apparently haven't given up and still try to capture the plant. Several commandos have been sent here, but frankly, there's little left of them. The same will happen to anyone else who tries to come here. We are doing our job, repelling attacks, and holding our ground. We do our best to perform our duties well.
Suffice it to recall Ukraine's artillery shelling of the ZNPP and attempts to burn its critical infrastructure, continuous UAV attacks, and even attempts to seize the plant by force. Russia still records more than 100 UAV attacks against the ZNPP and the city of Energodar every week. All these criminal actions are successfully counteracted by the Russian Guard of the ZNPP. At the same time, Russia has never deployed troops and heavy artillery equipment on the ZNPP premises. Only the necessary personnel to defend the plant and to respond to Ukraine's attacks. However, Ukraine did more than create external threats to the ZNPP. Before the ZNPP came under Russian jurisdiction, Ukrainian authorities had carried out a number of questionable experiments involving the use in the plant's reactors of nuclear fuel that was neither compatible with its engineering design nor initially approved by the Russian organization that had built the ZNPP. Neither was the foreign nuclear fuel approved for industrial use by Ukrainian regulatory authorities before it was loaded into the reactors. At present, the cores of ZNPP units number 2 and number 6 are loaded with fuel rod arrays, FRAs, manufactured by the Rosatom State Corporation, and the cores of ZNPP units number 1, number 3, number 4, and number 5 with FRAs produced by the Westinghouse Company. Despite these technical irregularities, The ZNPP continues to operate normally due to the efforts of Russian specialists. All scheduled maintenance and repair activities have been completed, and plant equipment damaged as a result of shelling by Ukrainian armed forces has been restored. Currently, all ZNPP power units have been switched to cold shutdown mode. One of the key tasks in any NPP is to ensure adequate cooling, as nuclear fuel is heated to high temperatures and remains hot for a long time. After Ukraine destroyed the dam at the Kakhovka hydroelectric power plant and the design layout feeding the ZNPP's cooling pond was breached, measures were taken to ensure an uninterrupted water supply to essential service systems for the ZNPP power units. As a compensating measure, 11 artesian wells with total capacities from 260 to 270 cubic meters per hour were drilled. It was decided to construct a feed pumping station for the ZNPP cooling pond, construction of which is underway. To date, all regular radiation monitoring systems at the plant are operational. Radiation and technology monitoring of the main equipment and systems of power units, radiation and dosimetry monitoring of personnel exposure doses, radiation monitoring of the environment are provided. Federal state supervision in the field of the use of atomic energy at the ZNPP is carried out in a regime of constant supervision by the Rostekhnadzor Territorial Division. Such a supervision regime is implemented in accordance with that territorial division's work plan. Under those plans, ZNPP facilities are subject to regular control and supervisory procedures. More than 500 such activities have been performed to date. Thus, Russia is doing everything that should be done to ensure stable operation of the ZNPP and to address threats to its safety and security emanating from Ukraine. The very return of the plant to Russian jurisdiction is a significant contribution to ensuring the nuclear safety and security of Europe's largest NPP. The ZNPP would not be able to function without its employees, who have routinely ensured its reliable and efficient operation, and in all conditions which are truly severe today. The ZNPP personnel live under constant psychological pressure, as Ukrainian special services continue to intimidate plant staff and their families. In person or by messenger texting, Ukraine threatens them with physical violence for not leaving their hometown and their work at the ZNPP. Despite this, employees at the plant perform their duties impeccably.
Our top priority right now is to ensure all aspects of safety and security at the Zaporozhskaya Nuclear Power Plant. The situation there remains dire. Staff members face intense psychological pressure. The shelling continues, and there have been terrorist attacks. Despite all this, job applications to the new operating organization continue to flow. This shows that people trust us, and we must live up to that trust.
Who are these people? How do they spend their working days? Before answering all these questions, let's look at some statistical data. Since February 1st, 2024, the ZNPP has employed only Russian citizens who have signed a contract with the Zaporozhskaya NPP operating organization. They form a cohesive and professional team who continue to fulfill its duties, despite Ukraine's constant provocations against them and their families. As of February 3rd, 2025, about 5,000 contracts have been signed. About 1,000 of them are contracts with operational staff. This number is sufficient to ensure safe and secure operation of the ZNPP, as well as routine maintenance. The ZNPP offers its personnel professional development options, which include various training courses and workshops aimed at improving their professional skills.
The training process is very lengthy and thorough. It starts from the basics, beginning with facility inspectors. Then the groups grow more advanced, and eventually a person becomes qualified to operate the reactor control panel.
Hundreds of people who work at the ZNPP today are highly qualified specialists, which is true of both the plant's operational personnel ensuring continuous process control and the administrative and technical staff providing engineering and logistics support. Many have graduated from Russian universities. Each of them is a unique specialist who plays an important role in ensuring the safe and reliable functioning of the ZNPP. Most of the plant's personnel are members of the trade union. 2 years ago, on March 30th, 2023, the ZNPP team took an important step towards unity and the protection of their interests and established a grassroots trade union organization. During this short but busy period, they managed to assemble 3,800 ZNPP staff members, and 350 employees of Russia's Federal Biomedical Agency, as we're stronger standing together. Draft and sign a collective labor contract providing for social guarantees and improved labor conditions. Provide finance assistance to more than 500 staff members, supporting those in need. Institutionalize occupational safety ombudspersons, because labor safety is a priority. Make vacation arrangements for 1,500 staff members and their families. Hold over 100 cultural and sports events, as the trade union is about protection, as well as an exciting life. Ensuring nuclear safety and security at an NPP is the responsibility of the state within the territory in which the plant is situated. Thus, it is Russia who is responsible for the ZNPP's safety and security. For our country, the protection of NPPs is also an essential component of its national security. As an IAEA member state, Russia cooperates with the agency in all its activities, including on safety and security of the ZNPP. The IAEA is an international intergovernmental organization tasked with developing international cooperation in the peaceful use of nuclear energy, verifying states' compliance with their non-proliferation obligations, and promoting nuclear safety. In particular, Russia regularly notifies the UN and IAEA member states on a voluntary basis about the real situation at the ZNPP and Ukraine's provocations. IAEA Director General Rafael Grossi maintains close contact with Russia on these matters and assists in strengthening the plant's safety and security, primarily against threats posed by Ukraine. The IAEA Director General has visited the ZNPP 5 times and could see for himself who jeopardizes its operation. He also appreciated all of Russia's efforts to protect the plant and maintain its operation. As the battlefield line is close to the ZNPP, IAEA Secretariat experts have been present at the plant since September 1, 2022, at Russia's invitation and with Russia's consent. Their main task is to prevent threats to the safety and security of the ZNPP posed by Ukraine. As an exception, the Secretariat experts were brought to the ZNPP through Ukrainian territory and crossed the battlefield line. Initially, IAEA Director General Rafael Grossi intended the visit to take place for June 2022, and only to be carried out on Russian territory. All preparations were complete, the route and schedule agreed, but at the very last moment the UN leadership refused to approve the visit on the pretext of inevitable political complications.
As Ukraine shelled the Zaporozhskaya NPP, the reactors of which had not been switched to cold shutdown mode at that time, there was a real threat of a large-scale nuclear accident. It was clear that Ukraine created such risks deliberately. One could hardly count on Kyiv's common sense or survival instinct. In this situation, we had to engage IAEA Secretariat experts for observation at the ZNPP, despite the fact that such activities are not envisaged by the IAEA mandate. There immediately emerged difficulties in bringing them to the NPP. They were to go through the territory of Russia on the 20th to the 23rd of June 2022. We did enormous and difficult preparatory work. As the situation at the ZNPP changed quickly and Ukrainian sabotage attempts did not cease, we have carefully considered and agreed upon all modalities, including the route to be taken by the IAEA Secretariat experts and measures to be used to ensure their protection. IAEA Director General Rafael Grossi accepted. However, that never happened. When all the parameters were agreed, UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres intervened and did not give his consent to the IAEA Secretariat experts entering the NPP. On the night of the 16th of June 2022, Izumi Nakamitsu, UN High Representative for Disarmament Affairs, notified the IAEA Secretariat that the United Nations could not authorize the agency's experts' visit to the ZNPP for security reasons and for fear of inevitable political complications. Since the 18th of July 2022, the Kyiv regime has regularly shelled the ZNPP and the city of Energodar. We repeatedly raised the issue of Kyiv regime's reckless behavior and the threat it poses to entire Europe at the UN Security Council meetings. IAEA Director General Rafael Grossi reverted to the issue of the IAEA Secretariat experts' presence at the ZNPP in conditions of continuous Ukrainian attacks. As a result, the IAEA representatives arrived at the NPP on the 1st of September 2022. Russia spared no effort to ensure that.
Russia did all it could to enable the IAEA Secretariat experts to get to the ZNPP safely and make their stay as productive as possible. IAEA Director General Rafael Grossi and those who accompanied him had to go to the plant literally under Ukrainian fire. Kyiv delayed the IAEA team, preventing it from reaching the plant.
Neither the enormous flags nor IAEA markings in bold on the vehicles stopped the enemy. They keep shelling anyway with mortars, artillery, drones. Nothing deters these people, those Nazis. The IAEA staff who come here are clearly professionals. They are courageous and committed. But even so, we understand what's going on. Why fire at them?
Beside that, Ukrainian troops made an unsuccessful attempt to seize the ZNPP. In addition, the city of Energodar was once again subjected to massive shelling by Ukraine's armed forces. Nevertheless, the 14 IAEA Secretariat experts successfully reached the ZNPP. Most of them, including the IAEA Director General and his two deputies, the DDG for Safeguards and the DDG for Nuclear Safety and Security, left the site on the evening of September the 1st. 6 agency representatives remained temporarily at the ZNPP. 4 left on September the 5th, while 2 have remained at the plant rotating on a monthly basis.
Since the ZNPP came under Russia's control and subsequently Russia's jurisdiction, we have maintained close contacts with the IAEA Secretariat. We have regularly informed and continue to inform the IAEA member states of the real situation at the NPP, including due to the persisting threat to its safety and security posed by Ukraine. IAEA Director General Rafael Grossi has visited the plant a few times and could assess the situation for himself. So could the IAEA experts at the plant, who repeatedly witnessed the crimes committed by Ukrainian armed forces, as well as were themselves targets of the strikes, as was the case during their rotations in December 2024 and February 2025. We consented to the arrival of the IAEA representatives at the ZNPP so that they contributed to ending Ukrainian attacks against the plant.
By January the 1st, 2025, 26 rotations had taken place at the ZNPP. Most were accompanied by Ukrainian provocations. By December 2024, it had become clear that it was no longer possible for the IAEA Secretariat experts to reach the ZNPP through Ukrainian territory, as they had previously. In December 2024, during a rotation, the Ukrainian armed forces attacked the vehicle used to deliver the IAEA Secretariat experts. The convoy was also attacked by Ukrainian UAVs. And in February 2025, they shelled the agency's representative using mortars and artillery. Under these conditions, in late February and early March, Russia, with the support of IAEA leadership, rotated the agency's Secretariat experts through its territory.
Thanks to the dedicated efforts of Russia's Defense Ministry and National Guard personnel, another IAEA rotation has been completed along a safe route proposed by the Russian side. The 27th mission has successfully arrived at the site and is beginning its work. Notably, the route proposed to the agency by the Russian side ran entirely through the territory of the Russian Federation.
The successful rotation through Russian territory demonstrated the reliability, comfort and security of such a route. Throughout the entire route, Russia ensured the IAE Secretariat experts' protection and eliminated the risks posed by possible Ukrainian provocation. The Secretariat experts were able to see how peaceful life resumed in the new territories, how Russia works to restore civilian infrastructure, and how the people who chose to live in Russia feel confident about their future. Access by IAEA Secretariat experts to the ZNPP premises and facilities in the areas adjacent to the plant is determined by the Russian authorities in accordance with national legislation and based on safety considerations. The IAEA Secretariat experts have the opportunity to examine the plant's equipment and visit its facilities, in particular the hydraulic structures, turbine halls, including block pumping stations and power unit reactor halls, including containment rooms, safety system rooms, electrical rooms, main and backup control rooms, backup diesel power plants, 750 kilovolt open switchgear, industrial procurement management, electrical and mechanical warehouses, power department workshops, water radiochemical laboratory rooms, chemical workshop and radiation safety workshop, the ZNPP training center, the spent fuel dry storage site, the central control room, and the external radiation monitoring laboratory. It is important to note that while the IAEA Secretariat experts have been present at the ZNPP, they carried out more than 160 control and supervisory procedures, together with Rostechnadzor inspectors. The IAEA Secretariat experts and Rostechnadzor inspectors participate in daily morning briefings with the plant director to discuss current tasks. After that, the IAEA Secretariat experts, accompanied by CBRN officers, and in some cases, during joint control and supervisory procedures, also by Rostechnadzor inspectors. They conduct walkdowns of its facilities. Usually, 2 to 4 IAEA Secretariat experts are present at the plant.
The IAEA representatives will remain at the ZNPP as long as Russia deems their presence justified and advisable. The ZNPP is a Russian nuclear facility, and when the time comes, the agency representatives will leave it.
The IAEA representatives often witness Ukrainian attacks against the ZNPP. If circumstances permit, the plant's Russian guards bring the Secretariat's experts to the sites attacked by Ukraine. Russia maintains close contact with the IAEA on strengthening the ZNPP's safety and security, and is grateful to the agency's leadership for their assistance in jointly mitigating Ukrainian provocations. Russia gives absolute priority to creating proper working conditions and improving living standards for the ZNPP personnel to ensure the efficient operation of the plant. Despite Ukraine's persisting threats to NPP personnel and their families, Russia spares no effort to create a comfortable environment and improve the quality of life for plant personnel and the people of Energodar. It implements projects to develop the city's infrastructure, to assist its social services, to support families and children, to promote youth professional development and creativity.
Our special focus is on the city of Energodar and its residents. On December the 12th, we launched the aid campaign Rosatom Stands by Energodar. More than 100 nuclear enterprises took part in it, donating clothes and funding. In a short time, we collected over 110 tons of essential supplies, including warm clothing and food. Over 222 million rubles were transferred to partner charitable foundations to help Energodar, all being personal contributions from our employees. These funds are already being used to purchase medical equipment, computers, school furniture, and textbooks. Certainly, we pay particular attention to supporting children. We have arranged lectures in physics, mathematics, and biology, and help students prepare for entrance exams to colleges and universities. This is a very challenging time for the students of Energodar, especially high school graduates, and there's a lot of catching up to do. That's why we have formed a team of 90 volunteer teachers who are now working with high school students to help them choose future careers and prepare for exams. Together with Russia's Federal Biomedical Agency, we're also working to improve healthcare in the city by organizing medical checkups for adults and children. Nearly 7,000 people have already received medical care.
Schools, sports facilities, kindergartens, a central church, city hospital and other facilities are gradually getting a new look. Renovated facades, modern equipment, comfortable conditions for children and adults. Each of these projects improves the infrastructure and inspires confidence in the future. After one hospital department had been redecorated, the people recorded finding medical care more convenient and pleasant. Students and parents are happy to see well-lit classrooms and new furniture in renovated schools. Every school now has nuclear science classes. However, it is residents who really make the difference. Their resilience, diligence and faith in the best work miracles. Many contribute to the city's development and help each other. When talking to the people of Energodar, one can see that despite what they have been through, they do not give up. The ZNPP has been recognized. Its human resources processes have been aligned. Sufficient key managerial and operational positions have been filled. The average salary at the plant is 3 times as high as the region's average. In Energodar, kindergartens, secondary schools, various sports facilities and the central library have been redecorated and resumed their work. A multifunctional public services center has been opened, a single-window facility that issues all personal documents. Renovated streets, cozy squares and modern parks appeared across the city. Social and cultural lives are buoyant. There are regular exhibitions, workshops, concerts and intellectual tournaments. A creative youth space has been opened. Subsidies for visiting sports institutions have been introduced, and all children in the city and nuclear industry veterans from the ZNPP regularly receive gifts from the state corporation Rosatom. TV and radio channels, newspapers and social media have been launched. The city's healthcare system has been fully modernized and the quality of service has been improved. New equipment and medical vehicles worth about 250 million rubles have been purchased. Targeted assistance in purchasing vital medicines and free medical examinations are provided. All ZNPP staff members have been granted additional medical insurance at the employer's expense. ZNPP personnel and their families can use health resorts. The children of Energodar can enjoy free vacations at seaside resorts. Special attention is paid to developing the education system and programs. All schools are equipped with computers and information stands. The Zaporozhskaya NPP operating organization provides all pupils in the city with a free school uniform. Energodar school teachers take part in regular experience, sharing with teachers from other Russian nuclear cities. A specialized training program, Path to Nuclear Science, has been organized for those who seek a university career. In 2023 to 2024, the city's social facilities, including apartment buildings, were redecorated and reconstructed. New equipment needed by the city's public utilities was purchased. More than 4.5 billion rubles have been allocated for these purposes. The renovation of Energodar's social infrastructure is still underway.
Of course, this work will continue and expand. The city needs to rebuild its public and cultural life. We'll do repairs in kindergartens, schools, and of course hospitals. We have prepared a 3-year development plan for Energodar, which is now officially the 28th Rosatom city. Supporting Energodar is not a one-time effort. I would like to encourage everyone to be a part of this worthy cause, no matter which enterprise you work for.
As Ukraine regularly shells the city's critical infrastructure, electricity and water supply are often interrupted, complicating daily life for the people. However, Energodar lives on against all odds. With children going to school, stores open, laughter heard in the yards, despite all the difficulties, the city population is growing. People see that the city is being cared for, that social infrastructure is developing, and efforts are taken to make life in the city comfortable. They pin hopes for the future on the city, and we pin hopes on them. Russia will continue working to improve the standard of living for ZNPP personnel and the people of Energodar, providing them with targeted support, and will promote further development of social and cultural infrastructure and the improvement of the urban environment quality. The ZNPP is more than just the largest NPP in Europe. It is a living organism. Its functioning is ensured day by day by a whole team that performs its duties professionally no matter what. Their work requires maximum concentration and full commitment, even in times of peace. Amid persistent Ukrainian attacks and provocations, they demonstrate true dedication to their vocation.
Despite the Kiev regime's shelling and provocations, we continue to maintain stable conditions at the plant's power units, which have been switched to cold shutdown mode. We carry out scheduled maintenance, regularly service the equipment, and ensure steady water supplies to the reactors, despite the destruction of the Kakhovskaya hydroelectric power station.
In 2022, Energodar became Russia's 28th nuclear city among the legendary Kochartov, Sosnovy Bor, Novоворonezh, Seversk, and others. These cities symbolize leadership in science and technology. Cutting-edge energy solutions are achieved there. Science is developed and a comfortable living environment is created. Now, Energodar is also taking its first steps on the way to becoming a city of the future, providing energy, developing science, and making people's lives better. Modern Russian nuclear cities can truly be called ecosystems, combining high technology, high standards of living, and a healthy environment. They demonstrate how the nuclear industry has come to drive development in adjacent areas, where modern schools, medical centers, sports facilities, and IT clusters are built. Having returned to the Russian nuclear family, the ZNPP has gained access to new technology, investment, and modernization programs. In practice, this means stability and safety. The plant will operate as a Russian NPP and will comply with its high standards. Infrastructure development, renovation of housing, roads and social facilities as in other nuclear cities, science and education, possible opening of university branches and personnel training centers.
We have been working in Energodar very actively, upgrading engineering infrastructure and renovating social facilities. We have opened a polytechnic college and a branch of the Sevastopol State University. New youth centers have been established in the city, and sports and music schools are now operating. We have upgraded healthcare facilities and arranged summer seaside vacations in Crimea for the city's children. We also help high school graduates choose careers in nuclear energy and enroll in the country's top universities.
Smart city. Introduction of digital solutions for energy, housing, utilities and transport. Nuclear power has a great future ahead. And now the ZNPP and the whole region is to share that future with Russia. Given the proximity of the battlefield line, it is pivotal to ensure the ZNPP's safety and security. This task is fulfilled by the National Guard of Russia and CBRN troops. Together with ZNPP personnel, all these people perform a genuine feat day by day, preventing possible threats to the plant posed by Ukraine, which remains the only hazard to operating the ZNPP. No doubt all these difficulties will be overcome over time, and the ZNPP will resume normal operations. Today, plans are being made to restart the plant's power units, which will undoubtedly open a new chapter in the glorious history of Russian nuclear energy.
We firmly believe Energodar has a bright future ahead of it, a future that is closely tied to the nuclear power plant. We are developing a program to put all 6 reactor units in operation. This will give a fresh boost to the city and the entire region. We hope the near future will bring a period of stability and steady growth. I wish all residents of Energodar prosperity, good health, and a swift resumption of peaceful life. Over the past 2 years, we have seen that there is no challenge that we cannot overcome together. So now it's time to move forward towards new achievements and always together.
On behalf of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Russia, I would like to thank the ZNPP personnel who continue to demonstrate courage and professionalism as they ensure safe operation of the power plant, despite the persistent threats to their lives and health posed by the Kiev regime. Russia will spare no effort to protect the ZNPP and its staff against any external danger. We stand by you, the ZNPP. Welcome back home to Russia.
The ZNPP. Welcome back home to Russia.